G'day scrappers, welcome to part 2 of this vintage scrap out session, and I thought I'd start off this one with a fitting PC to scrap out. It's a Corona. So AWA, you don't see these very often. Got a 5 1/4 floppy there. So there we go, Corona Data Systems. Wow, couldn't get more appropriate than that. What does the back look like? Yeah, again, supplied by AWA. Yeah, really interesting. It looks like it might have a decent sized motherboard. So let's crack into it. And as per usual, we're still in the same situation with Corona. Lockdowns are going to be extended again, so I've kind of learned to live with it. I think the government has to learn to live with it. Because they seem to respond when we get one case, and then we go in lockdown, and then all of a sudden we're getting 10 cases and then 20 and 30. So I just can't see how lockdown actually works, because people are still getting it. So might as well save the businesses and people's jobs and just, yeah, live with it. Wow, that's an old school card. It's, yeah, interesting. Not bad. Got a EEPROM there. I'll put that in with all the others that I scrapped out. Okay, so we've got another ST225 hard drive here, and it looks like a decent clean one. So I've got so many of them, I'm going to scrap out quite a lot. So, but I do want to keep a bunch of good specimen ones. So because this one, a lot of them I got that were loose, so they could be faulty. So because this one's still in the PC, it'll probably be a good idea if I just kept it. Quite an unusual setup this. The motherboard looks huge. Actually, the motherboard is ginormous. Okay, here's our power supply, I guess. So as per usual, I get all the oddball comments, you know, like people coming in and not really knowing what I'm doing or got the history of what I'm doing. And so they say, oh, you know, you could have sold that PC for $300 on eBay. The thing is, I got a lot of these vintage PCs in that one pickup. So I've kept a lot of the good ones, the ones that I believe that I can sell easily and it's worthwhile keeping. These ones, I don't have the room to, sure, I know I can sit on them and put them on eBay and try and get better money than I can scrap value, even though some of the boards that I'm selling are, you know, almost get that 300 out of a PC anyway, and that's without having to try and sell. Because when you go to sell a PC, then all of a sudden people expect it to be in good condition. If you say as is, untested, then they're going to pay accordingly anyway. They're going to pay and they're going to assume that there's a lot of things wrong with it. and so they're going to want it cheap. So it works out the same, to be honest. The ones that I'm keeping, well, I'm just happy to keep them, whether I sell them or not. Okay. So just work out how to get to all this. Looks like this is it. And on top of, you know, maybe losing a little bit of money, but again, I'd rather have the room and spend the time elsewhere. Wow. I'd rather scrap this stuff out and have a bit of video content, you know. So you got to take that into account too, that I also make videos on scrapping out stuff, and so if I just sold everything, well, I won't be able to make many videos. So that's system ROM. Wow, how's that? That's one of the biggest motherboards I've seen for a regular PC. So here's our CPU here. It's an AMD from 1982. A couple more EPROMs there. Nice little ceramic IC there. So in this case, I understand that some of these chips can be worthwhile. So what I do is I look them up, and if they're selling for $10 or listed for 10 or 20 bucks, I don't worry about it. But if there's a chip that's listed for 70, 80 bucks, then I'll take it out and I'll keep it, and maybe one day I'll try and sell it. And you could say the same for the whole motherboard, but I really doubt that. So I just go on Google and type in the part numbers of like the CPU and the EPROMs and stuff, and yeah, it's easy. And if they actually sell, then I'll probably list them, or they're listed for a real high price. Worthwhile. Not that I would do that anytime soon, but I just put it in my collection of chips and CPUs, the oddball and vintage ones, and leave it at that. So yeah, that's even got a giant crystal there. But wow, nothing on the other side. Yeah, but I can see that it looks like, yeah, this chip is damaged, so it renders the whole motherboard useless. Look at all these memory ICs along there. They'll be good. So yeah, it's just a matter of just checking some of the main chips and seeing if they're worth selling. Same as the CPU, it might turn out to be a collectible one that you can get 50, 60 bucks for. Obviously then it's not going to go for gold recovery. I'll put it aside. Yeah, that's just how it goes. Got quite a bit of aluminium here. I might have to clean it up. I might just throw this into Iron Alley because I'm taking a batch in. All right. Just want to get this hard drive out. Yeah, it might be. There we go. So there we go. All done. Corona. Won't see that one again. And here's our nice hard drive. And yeah, because it's, you know, I've actually pulled it out straight out of a PC, it might be worthwhile keeping this one, especially because of the fact that it's actually got a 5.25 inch floppy mounted to it as well. So it's one complete unit. So yeah, so this is not that, it might work once you put a floppy in there, it might actually work. But yeah, because this one's got the two, I will keep this only until I work out whether it's anyone wants it. But yeah, because I like these old big hard drives, and so I do want to keep a few in my own collection, just, you know, just for a display to see what they were like back in the day. All right, well, that was Corona. Let's grab another one. Okay, so here's something really unusual. It's a Texas Instruments TravelMate desktop docking station. So this was a docking station for the TravelMate laptops. So pretty cool, pretty interesting. I don't have the laptop to match, but yeah, Texas Instruments is always a cool thing. And yeah, we'll just well, there you go. So that's where the laptop pops in, and yeah, pretty extravagant docking station. You know, these days they're about that big, you know. I'll show you the back and we'll get into it. I'm not sure what's going to be inside. I can't imagine much if all the computing power would be from the laptop. So obviously you're going to have ports, VGA, game port, parallel, serial ports. Yeah, you could even put a modem in there and a mouse, keyboard, old style. So let's see how easy or hard it is to get into this thing. Okay, and so you got PCMA slots here, so there should be some kind of motherboard there. Reset button. Oh yeah, looks like it just there we go. Oh, plastic recycling. All right. Okay. Oh yeah, there is a board, but it doesn't look. So all this part here looks like just. Yeah, there might be a couple of drives there, not really sure. Power supply, very standard. A couple of motors here. Yeah. I think the trick is going to be just how to get into it. I'll take out the power supply. It's always a good start. Power supply. Okay. Oh well, the motherboard has got quite a lot of tantalum capacitors. Yeah, big old ribbon here. Oh yeah, that's just very unusual. So it's obviously technically not really a motherboard. It's more like a, yeah, I'm not really sure what they would have called these. Okay. Just got to snip off all these. Nope. Okay. Wants to be a bit stubborn. And there we have it. And there's our, well, I guess you could still call it, it's still a motherboard. The BGA there. Yeah, all the slots. Fortunately, there's nothing in there. Could have been anything really. Cirrus Logic chip there, would probably be a good one. But yeah, oh yeah, there's a gold band crystal there. So yeah, we'll put this into scrap motherboards. Just remove a couple of little bits, choice bits. And yeah, this is all empty. So it might have been for extra floppy drives, stuff like that. But there's really nothing in there. Oh well. No dramatic CPUs or anything in this one. And this ribbon wire, just data cable, but these pins in there will be pretty good for gold recovery. Now we'll clean that up. Not really sure how to get the whole thing out, so but yeah, get the motors out. There we go. Made in Singapore. Air packs. Cheshire. I think that's Connecticut, USA. Step angle. I'll put it aside just in case someone says, "Oh, that was exactly what I was looking for. Why did you scrap it?" There we go. This one's a nice bigger one. So I'll try and leave a bit of wire on it so it could be spliced back on if need be. But that's another air packs. 5 volts. Step angle. I've heard of stepper motors, but not step angle. So who knows? But that's a nice chunky one. Alright, well that is pretty much it. Not going to get much else out of it. Bit of wire. Yeah, as I said, it's all empty in there. Beautiful. That's done. There we go. Texas Instruments docking station for an old travel mate. Yeah, I'll still put in motherboards and still take a couple of these removable flat packs and it'll still be a good one for the refiner. Well, we got two for the price of one. Okay, they saw me fiddling around putting a new PC up. Oh, lost my mic. And they decided to both jump up at the same time. So if you kindly want to get out of my way, I'll start scrapping this thing, because it's pretty hard to do it. All right, so this PC here, where are you going? Thank you. Okay, 1, 2, 3, both jump down. No, all right. No, there's nothing to eat here. All right, yeah, so this one here looks like a pretty straight one. It's a Samsung S550. It looks like at one stage it was bought at an auction by this hoarder. Maybe he went to auctions as well and bought them. It's got two 5 1/4 floppies. I've got so many floppies. I don't need to keep any more. Trust me. So I just take the boards and throw it into Iron Alley. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's got any cards, unfortunately. So yeah, hell, Samsung. Yeah, interesting. The power supply was stuck. All right. Okie dokie. The only thing with these, quite old school PCs is they've got nice big motherboards, but they don't have the CPU that we're expecting. We're wanting like a Pentium Pro or stuff like that, although I did have a motherboard with a Pentium Pro, I just can't find it somewhere. All right, well, nice big boxy power supply. And actually, these pins are quite good on this one. So that's a bonus. At least we'll get some gold recovery out of these one day. I'm actually building up so many pins and plugs. Yeah, not bad. One-sided. I've got to start doing something with them soon, just to get the volumes down, because I've got barrels of pins, and yeah, I'd like to start processing, like just at least getting the pins out, and sort of to reduce the volumes, to bring down like 4 or 5 barrels down to 2 barrels of, or even 1 barrel of just pins would be really nice. All right, so that looks like the CPU down there. Let's just get out these floppies. So yeah, these vintage PCs are kind of the only real interesting things I've got to scrap. I have got a few pieces that I haven't scrapped before, that I've kept to try and sell, but they never sold, and so I will get onto them. But until the, I start doing some more unusual pickups, I'm kind of just, well, I mean, it's not very often you get to see all different kinds of vintage PCs being scrapped out. So, but all I really want, because I had so many, I've been just removing the board, extra IC chip, taking out the main motor, and then throwing it into Iron Alley. I mean, once you've got 20 of them, how many more do you want, Okay. That was weird. Wow. That's a pretty intense, extremely intense motherboard, this. And once again, these things just Zymos Poach 1 and Poach 2. You know, they could be, you know, valuable to someone. And the CPU here, yeah, it's just got part numbers and that, so I'll look them up. I'll look up these EPROMs if I can. Usually once they've got the stickers on it, it's hard to get the, you know, you can't get the part numbers. And then once, if you take the stickers off, then you are erasing the data, you know, good chance. Yeah, but that's some nice fat resin dip tantalum capacitors. A really good gold recovery wise motherboard. Memory chips there, and yeah, these flat packs in here are worth looking up just in case, because yeah, as I keep saying, it's not worth selling motherboards because it could be just one chip blown and then, you know, you've lost. Well, there you go. That was the Samsung S550, and yeah, and we're going to do a scrap metal run, so good to get rid of all this stuff. All right, well, here we go. This is another one of those old compact Desk Pros, really heavy buggers. It's got a couple of 5 1/4. I think I've kept the best specimen of this one in my own collection. And it's got quite a few cards, this, so it could turn out to be still a good money maker from the cards, but they are very specific cards, like as far as they're huge cards. And the chances of someone looking for, as a BGA, these kind of cards is probably quite slim. You can see here, so 4 cards, 2 of them full size. Yeah, really nice. But you know, I'll try and pass them on to my mate to sell them on eBay. If not, that's okay. Gold recovery. What do, you know? And these ones, they're using torque screws. It's quite unusual for this vintage. But for all these vintage PCs that I've done, and if you remember the Horde that I picked up, there was nearly, there was close to 200 PCs, I think, 180. Not to mention all the boards and stuff. So that's one huge power supply unit. I'll be getting rid of all them this week. All right, so the cards, and yeah, interesting motherboard as well. It's not as big as I would expect for the size. It's only about 8 inches deep. But there you go. So these cards can be either nothing special, or they could be super special, especially the real big ones. I'll put in my little box there. Here we go. So yeah, looks like the graphics, sound, audio card. Yeah, 90, 82, 83, 84. And there we go. So yeah, it's just hard to know until we look them up. And here's a, yeah, looks like similar kind of card, but yeah, some beautiful EPROMs here, and I can get to the part numbers if need be. But I'm, you know, with this kind of, oh wow, how's that? Oh, this is a super duper card. Why? Because here is a 186 CPU. Oh, how spectacular. So this card might be worth quite a bit. If there's... Yeah, I'm not sure if I can see a part number or anything on here. Here's a Motorola IC there, but I can see that. See the heatsink, and that's a 186 or 286 CPU. I'll see if I can undo it, but I don't want to damage it. So, yeah. But it's, one of the tiny little beautiful gold 186 or 286 CPU. So I'll just first determine if this board is valuable. It could be a $700 board. You just don't know. With the Motorola's, the Pentium 1 or 2 CPU, it could be a really valuable board. So just going to have to determine this, but I can't see any part numbers, so maybe just by what it is, my seller will know. Well, that's spectacular. Even if that card didn't sell, I mean, I know I can sell the 186 CPUs just as collectibles themselves, and it depends on which one it is. It could be really good. These plugs are also got really good pins in there, so definitely go for these pins. And this other card, okay, and this is just for the floppy printer port. So it could be still useful for someone. Just don't know. Okay, so it's got a board number, but yeah, it's really hard to identify these. But I like this board. It's got nice tanties and the yellow MLCCs. They're good palladium. So usually you see most of them. Usually they're blue. And then the second common one is the yellow, and then you got all different colours. So you got purple, greens, reds, oranges. So they're a bunch of beautiful cards, and super impressed with the CPU in it. So that noise are my chickens. That's kind of the noise they make. In case anyone's wondering. One more stubborn one. All right, so there's the motherboard, and it's got a nice ceramic NEC chip here, and then EEPROM here. It's got Compact Computer Corporation, so this one here might actually be a CPU as well. Well, I'm not really sure. I don't know the deal with the cards with the little CPU on them, but these two chips look really nice. Memory chips, yeah, a really good, like, high gold recovery type of motherboard, especially compared to today. Put that away, and all we got left are two 5 1/4 inch floppies. And there we go. So once again, take out the motor. Usually I don't bother with these. I do take a few of these motors because I like the magnets in these. They're not really powerful magnet. So I like them for variation, but you also get them out of like VCRs and stuff like that. But it's good to have a few of these, especially if you're going, say, through MLCCs and you want to see which ones are really strong magnetic and which ones are just so-so. And obviously I want to get the board, get the fingers. So there we have it. Wow. I can, for those that may not have ever seen a 186, I'll show you a 186 CPU. Hang on. Yeah, so as I said, in this fantastic card, that's where the CPU is there. I just want to keep it intact, because just if I try and undo the clip, I'll probably, knowing me, I'll accidentally break the clip and then it'll be a real shame. But in there is this. So that's the 186 CPU. And look at that. So they're awesome for gold recovery, but they're much more awesome as collectibles. So when you get 186 or 286 CPUs, look like that. Yeah, you get much more value just selling them, because they're really hard to get these days. And so collectors want them. This one here is not actually in very good condition because it's got a chip. So this one was just found loose. So it's got a little chip on there, so it's not really sellable. So this one will go as gold recovery because, yeah, collectors certainly don't want a chip out of the ceramic. But, so there's a pristine one in there, and so awesome. So, oh well. Let's hope that this card can sell for good money. And the other cards as well. Alright, well that one is done. Let's do one last item. Okay, so whilst it's meant to be vintage PC scrap, since this is the last item, I thought I'd do something a little bit different than a vintage PC, because most of the other ones that I've got to scrap out are all the one identical to what I've already done. So, okay, so this is something a little bit different. It is missing a couple of modules here, so I'm not sure what we're really going to get out of this. It's a Ando Type AP 9600 PCM line test set. So obviously to test lines on PCMs, whatever they are. But I need to scrap it out, so it doesn't look like it's something fantastic enough to justify like just doing a video on its own. So yeah, since we've done just about every different PC that I want to scrap at the moment, I'll have to work out on the rest of them. But like the one I just did, I've got three more. But they were just in too good condition. Wow, okay. Well, that was totally unexpected. Look at all those cards in there. Oh my gosh. Transformer, some other cards here. Wow. This is really, really interesting. So, no idea how to get into it really, so we're just going to sort of make our way through by undoing some screws. Bit of aluminium around the place too. That won't go. It's getting quite dark and miserable here. It's a bit of rain and that. It's almost the end of winter, so it'd be nice to get a bit of spring weather. Seem to be much more, motivated when it warms up. Just makes it easier to be out here and scrapping and stuff. Goodness, so there's a lot going on here. Just going to have to, because most of this is made up of aluminium, housing. I'm going to have to undo most of the stuff anyway. Wow. So I'll certainly look out for these PCM line test sets. I mean, there's quite a lot going on there, as you can see. So pity the 2 modules weren't in there. Just wondering what they would have been. But I don't know about everyone else, but for me, this sort of stuff I find very interesting because it's something different. I'm doing PCs, switches and servers all the time, so I really look out for this stuff. I get excited when I pick stuff like this up. So this panel, okay. Now it certainly gets rid of a lot. Just cut our way out. So, all right. Well, there's just a bit of a power board. Okay. Wow. So this is not a bad board. I'd probably just depopulate this completely. Just take all these IC chips rather than selling it. But this board here, you might be able to see all those beautiful gold pins. They're actually very, very high quality gold pins here. You can see that. And then check out all these ones where they wire wrap wire onto the gold pins. They're double-sided, and they're really, really high-grade gold pins there. Spectacular. So they're going to be good. So this whole unit, you know, obviously it's going to take a bit of time to get into it and all that. I mean, even the panel itself, it could be used as a display panel. So, but once I start taking things off and removing these little switches and stuff, then it doesn't look as well. So I'll just determine that, because I can always go for the boards and gold recovery one day, but I might even use this as a, you know, part of a kind of like a display that I've kind of got an idea of to do one day in retirement, just to sort of showcase, you know, kind of like a memory for me, all the oddball electronics that I've scrapped out. And okay. So just make a little bit of room to so there's another module here. Yep. Yeah, it's not much, but it's still got those gold pins. This is what we want. All right, so, and then the rest is just power stuff, so not a great deal. So let's just look at all these boards. Okay, just lost my microphone there. Oh, how's that? Look at that. I mean, the board is nothing spectacular. It's only basically barely a mid-grade board, but look at those gold fingers, double-sided. Can you hear that? When you hear that, you know that you got some decent gold plating here. So these are certainly going to add to the gold fingers, you know, batch that I got. These transistors, they got gold legs, so they'll have a gold base. So there's something definitely want to take as well. Well, this one's the only one with gold legs. This one doesn't, but it still might have a gold base, so I'll take it off and check it out. And then it's just a mid-grade board, but obviously great. Oh wow, so obviously every one of these is going to have a set of gold fingers, and as well underneath there'll be a backplane board, which I can already see is one of the old school really top All right, wow. Once again, oh, this one's actually thicker, thicker gold than the other one. It's got a removable IC chip here. It's only plastic, but sometimes these plastics can be as good, if not better. And transistors, well, all of them have got gold legs, so that's a real bonus. That's a good board. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 boards. Oh, this is just getting better and better. So there's an EEPROM here, but it's not removable. But it's a ceramic EEPROM, so it might be a bit of gold under that. Our fingers, and I'll check out some of these ICs. I'll bust them open and see if I can see visible gold. If so, then I'll depopulate the whole board. If not, it's just basically a mid-grade peripheral. Okay, same deal here. A little bit different. Wow. So when you're pulling off gold fingers from like modern boards and stuff, not all of them really have that good gold, especially really current slot cards and stuff. So this sort of really adds to your gold recovery if you mix it all together. Makes the difference. Yep, another one. Fantastic. Wow. I did not expect that, to be honest. How's that? Loaded with IC chips. I mean, this could go as a telecom grade board as it is. Once you take these off, then you maybe server, but because they're plastic, it's hard to tell for the buyer. So we'll see if I can. Usually plastic are hard to crack into just by, you know, twisting them. Because all we really want is to get the top off. Yeah. Well, so far I don't see any real gold. So when there's no visible gold, it's most likely there is no gold in these IC chips, and that's why board buyers don't necessarily grade these that high, because they're just loaded with IC. If they're ceramic ICs, that's a different story, but when they're plastic, just like now, I don't see gold, so what are they paying for? So it's just a mid-grade board. Got one tantalum here, but it's all about these fingers. But as it is, I can still throw it into slot cards if I wanted to sell them, but no way. There's another one, and more little transistors, and yeah, just gold fingers galore. Here we go again. Unbelievable. So there's a ceramic IC chip. So let's see what we can see in this one. With the ceramics, you can pop the top off. Yeah, so look at that. See the gold in there? Not sure if you can, but it's all gold in there, gold plate. There will be gold bonding wires. There's a little silicon chip on the top, but that's what we're looking for when we're going for ceramic IC chips. So this ceramic here, that's just a cap. There's nothing on it. You can throw that away. That's it. But if you're selling ceramic IC chips, try and get the whole thing with the cap, because you get more weight, obviously. But if you sell them like that with all the caps off, then it's obviously what they are. Then you want to get top dollar for ceramic IC chips. Okay, so they're all plastic. Last one. Oh, that's a bit different. Well, another huge crystal on there. It's like a soft drink can almost. Beautiful gold. This stuff here, there might be contact points in here. That could be silver, possibly gold, but most likely silver contact points. But this is what we want. And there's our backplane board, and usually these green backplanes are good, but it's actually not a backplane board. They're just individual plugs, which is kind of good in a way, because you don't have to deal with a board. Let's see if I can get one out. Just to give you a, yeah. Yeah, a bit hard because they're all got they're all obviously wired up. And wow, oh my gosh, I've got to get one off now because they've got the wire wrap underneath. So these are spectacular. I don't know how easy it's going to be to get this whole mechanism out. Yeah, because they're not screwed in, or they got nuts, and it will take. Oh, actually, I might be able to take it off this way, just to show you these spectacular gold pins. I love this stuff. Okay, wow, that's what I want. So you can see they're all individual plugs, backplane, where these fantastic slot cards, but just to match that, the gold in those pins are just as good. But check this out. How am I going to show you? Can you see that? They're about 1 inch long, and they're wire wound. So they got wire wrapped around a lot of the gold pins. I'll cut the wire out of the one that I undone, and that way I can give you a look. Better look anyway. Okay. Yeah, they are tedious to undo because you've got a lot of wire to clean them up for gold recovery, but so I'm going to make a mess of this, but I just want to give you an idea on one of them. Okay, so not sure if you can see in there once again, but the gold pins are fully plated and really nice orange gold pins. And look at the wire wound gold pins here. Look how long they are. They're over 1 inch long. So this stuff here is really good for gold recovery. It does take a while to clean up all this wire off there, and like I said, they got copper, wire wrapped around every individual one, but you could sort of get them off, and if not, you could probably use solution to eat away the copper. So yeah, they're spectacular all the way through right up to there. So you got 2.5 inches of gold pin there. Fantastic. So the rest, it's just a matter of undoing all those other plugs. How many were there? About 11. And then there's just a power board over the side, and a old transformer here. Not a lot, just power stuff. But I do want this card here with the gold pins as well. And that should do me. Yeah. And obviously we want to cut out all the wire. But there, so not much to it, but it's all about these gold pins, and they go all the way through. So somehow getting off these gold pins be spectacular. Fantastic. Wow. So I still got a bit of work to do, but I'll do this out of video because it's just going to be repeating the same thing. And we've got the main thing what we're after. Fantastic. Look at all this. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Unbelievable card. These fingers are as good as it gets. Sorry for the my microphone keeps dropping down, so but that's as good as it gets. Well, that was a very surprising scrap out. That there's still more to come, still more things here. So once again, the gold pins, all the gold pins there. Yeah. All right, well, I think I'll call that a scrap, and that's the end of part 2. And we'll probably just go on and do something else in a few days' time. I got a couple ideas on videos, so I got a lot of depopulating to do here for the time being. But yeah, I've gotten down a lot of the PCs here. Here's a batch of PCs that I'm not scrapping out. So here's a good version of the NEC PowerMate 286 Plus, an Amstrad 1640, a Wang here. This is the Compact Desk Pro 386S in really nice condition. An IBM here, a couple of IBMs. I'm not sure what I was going to do with them, and then a few other, as well as what's that? Silicon Graphics one, the blue one down there, and yeah, Power Mac, and some old ones that I kind of want to keep, but there's yeah, still more buried. This old thing, unfortunately, it's not in the best condition, but that's the old Radio Shack, the TRS 80, 18K RAM. So this one I'll probably clean up and see what it looks like. But yeah, and yeah, so that's it, guys, for now. Yeah, I'll just continue on here and process as much as I can, just trying to get down everything. And yeah, I've been getting into the shed as well, so yeah, so I've got a lot of stuff in the shed that I've got to process, but everything's looking really good. As you can see, there's not much e-waste around at all. So so it's sort of like I need to make space in the shed here so I can remove stuff out of the garage and clear it out the way. But now this shed was full to the door last week, so I've been scrapping a lot of stuff out. It's been really good, but now, yeah, it's just about tidying up and yeah, just throwing out stuff that I don't need. I've got a lot of vintage PCs and my server vintage stuff, the IBM RISC stuff behind all that mess. But actually, I can't believe how much I've actually scrapped out of this garage in the last few days. So it's been really good. All right, well, I'll keep going here, guys. And yeah, hope that was a bit of fun for you. Hope everyone's getting scrap and looking after yourselves for all this mess. And hopefully we all come out of it soon and get back to normal life. Keep scrapping, and I'll catch you real soon.